What's up? Welcome back. In this video, we're going to be talking about the March 2024 core Google update that just rolled out yesterday. I just want to go over it, give you my thoughts on it and what they're exactly trying to do, and then give you just a brief update on what's going on with Pepper sites. So also, I just wanted to keep these videos a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more, laid back, just chilling and kicking it back. So, look, the March 2024 core update released yesterday. If you don't know what a core update is when Google kind of alters or modifies their algorithm to essentially take into consideration new factors or to combat certain things that are happening with the SERPs, which in this case, they're trying to combat spam. And what they're looking to do is, create new spam policies that will make the results better for their users. So you can see here the March core update is a complex update, and the complex update, because it's a complex update, the rollout may take up to a month. Now, if you're in the SEO world, you know that the last update that came out was the helpful content update back in September of last year, and that kind of really shook up the SERPs. It was probably one of the biggest updates since the Panda update. I have portfolio sites monetized with affiliates and ads, and they really got impacted as well. So, really kind of expecting this core update to be just as volatile and really gonna, shake up the SERPs. So the baseline practice for any SERP update, core update from Google, is to just let it ride out, let it finish. So they're saying it might take up to a month. So there's going to be volatility. If you're watching your rankings, your rankings are going to fluctuate, but it's best to just assess after the rollout takes place completely, because if you're trying to make changes as the update is rolling out, it might just do more damage than good. So let's take a look at the actual policies and what they're trying to combat. The first thing here is expired domain abuse. Expired domain abuse, so they're just trying to kind of target SEOs and SEO strategies that have kind of exploded the last couple of years. I mean, expired domain has been around for a while, this strategy, but they're trying to combat it now. So essentially what the strategy is you find an expired domain, and what an expired domain is let's just say there was a website called Vance'sRefrigeration.com, right? They sold refrigerators back, in the early 2000s or whatever. But Vance'sRefrigeration.com or Vance's Refrigeration, they went out of business. So they don't need their website anymore. So they let that domain drop. And when that domain drops, it goes to a registrar, and people can now pick up this domain. All right. But when you pick up this domain, a funny thing that happens with domains that were actually used for legitimate businesses, again, the name of the game is to be legitimate. What happens with these domains is they retain a lot of their value in their authority. So the SEOs, what they would do is they would pick up these expired domains, and knowing that they have a bunch of backlinks and authority to them, and that they were legitimate at one point, if they're doing it correctly, this is what they would do. They would look up the site on Wayback Machine and archive.org. They take a look at what the website looked like, and then they would recreate that site one for one so that Google can't know the difference, and just say, hey, Vance's Refrigeration is back on the market. We're doing business again. And they would let that website sit for like a couple months. I mean, this is the right way to do it again. I mean, there's other people who are just buying this and then 301ing it, and then just trying to waterfall or trying to point that domain authority to their primary domain or secondary, and then whatever. But the right way to do it is probably to rebuild the site based on what it was looking like back then, and then let it sit for a month. And then what you do from here is, now that the website is back in index and all the previous pages are indexed as well, you can then go ahead and start creating new pages like a blog. And then from that blog, you can create, you can have blog post like the best refrigerators, right? The best refrigerators, or something that's related to advanced refrigeration. Ideally, this is typically what I would do. So after that, now because you have this built-in authority in advancedrefrigeration.com through this expired domain that you bought, you can rank higher for best refrigerators because in Google's eyes, your advanced refrigeration, like about refrigerators, right? So best refrigerators is good. And then also, this could also apply to local SEO because if I had a refrigeration repair, right? Refrigeration repair company, I could buy dropped domains, expired domains like this, piggyback off this authority, and then rank for a keyword like this, refrigeration repair, and that would be a lead gen source for my business and get some leads. So that's expired domains, and that's what they're trying to combat here. So yeah, I didn't really read through this yet, but you could see search with low value content by using the past reputation of a domain name. My thoughts on this is, how are they going to know? It's again, if you're doing it the right way here, if you're rebuilding it after it's dropped, and you're rebuilding it to be one for one from the Wayback Archive, and you're letting it sit for a month, index the way it is after you've rebuilt it, it's going to be very hard for them to actually combat that and know that that's what's happening. Again, there's other ways that people use expired domains. For instance, if this had a high DR of like a 70 or whatever, some crazy DR, what they would do is they would 301 this typically to another website that they own, their primary website, and then the link juice or the domain authority would then flow into their own primary domain. That used to work, but it hasn't been working, recently. But again, if you're doing it like this, I just don't know how they would be able to tell. But interesting to say, at least, we'll see what happens. I have some sites built on expired domains, so we'll see what happens, right? So scaled content abuse is another thing that they're trying to combat. Scaled content abuse sounds like it's programmatic SEO. I love that they have this little question here. Is this a change on how Google views AI? Google has flip-flopped their stance on AI quite a couple times now. In the beginning, they were, right when AI was coming mainstream, they were like, we're against AI. We're not going to promote AI content. If you use AI to write content, you will be penalized. With the helpful content update, they actually swapped their stance on that, and the actual wording of that was like written by humans, right? That we want content only written by humans. And then with that helpful content update, what they did was they switched this to read written for humans. So that implied that it didn't really matter whether it was written by humans or AI, as long as it was informative and helpful. Again, the helpful content update, as long as it was helpful for humans, they would rank it. And there were so many case studies and so many examples of sites pounding AI content, getting topical authority, topical relevance, and just killing it with AI content. Now it seems like this is kind of over, it's something that when it's overplayed too much kind of becomes spam because everybody's doing it, right? So this is what they're trying to tackle, I think. But basically it's programmatic SEO. And again, just explaining this from a high level, what this means is like if I have a site on pickleball or, whatever, let's just use pickleball, right? And I was writing everything about pickleball, right? Pickleball paddles, pickleball, I don't know, the wiffle ball or whatever, nets, shoes, gear, rules, the best places to play pickleball, whatever. I was writing about every single thing under the sun about pickleball, but I was just using AI to generate thousands of articles regarding pickleball. Again, this would help with the topical authority here because in Google's eyes, if I'm writing about everything under the sun about pickleball, I must be an authority, right? But what happens with AI content is usually it's low spun content, pretty much regurgitating information already found online. And it's not really helpful to anybody. So essentially they would take this topical authority after they've written everything about AI or pickleball, and then they start typing, getting content out there that's affiliate based, like best pickleball paddle, for instance, right? Also, they could probably monetize with ads too. If somebody's looking up some obscure question about pickleball, they're probably going to show up because they're doing every variation of every question under the sun programmatically. So I just think this is just kind of ironic and funny that they're trying to, clearly define what their stance is on, even though it's been kind of flip-flopped. But yeah, anyway, the next one is site reputation abuse. This one seems like they're targeting parasite SEO. So let me show you an example. What parasite SEO is essentially because it's so, with the helpful content update and how things have been evolving with the SERPs, what's happening is it's harder for sites that have low authority to get ranked for some keywords, for very competitive keywords. In the past, if you had things like topical authority, right? If you were really writing and you were really demonstrating expertise with original content, Google will weigh that heavily, favorably, and they would rank you pretty high. But now, because of AI, and this is just my stance on the whole situation, because of AI, it's very hard to gauge topical authority very well. Because again, if you're writing 1,000, 10,000 articles on pickleball, the algorithm can't differentiate really what's high quality content and not, right? It's just seeing the words on a page. So they have to now take some weight off of that. And where else are they going to put the weight? It's really the entire domain authority, all right? So essentially, if you have a lot of backlinks, if you have a lot of authority in the space, you're just going to get more weight, and you're going to have an easier time ranking. So that's what this is. That's what site reputation abuse is. It's when you piggyback off of sites that allow you to either pay them for a post or post on your own, and then you're using that to rank for specific keywords that would bring you value. Okay. Forbes is a great example of this. All right. I'll show you an example. So if I type in roofers, I was just doing some research for a client. If you type in roofers Dallas, Texas, you can see that Forbes here is the second highest result. All right. But you wouldn't typically you wouldn't think of, okay, I'm going to get my roofer recommendations from Forbes, but here they are recommending these companies. But when you click this get a free estimate under any one of these, you're taken to the same URL here, which is roofing.advisorjourney.forbes. So this is just a lead gen play. So they probably get, something per lead, or, they're filtering out these leads somehow. It's just so ironic that they're listing all of these as the top roofing companies, but when you hit click get free estimate, you're not taken to their website. Instead, you're taken to a Forbes site where they're trying to offer you a quote, and they're probably selling those leads to whatever, Home Advisor or another network that will pay per lead or something like that. So yeah, I mean, you can see this across best protein powder too. If you type this in, we have New York Magazine, Glamour, Washington Post, and then Forbes again. Again, these are just affiliate plays. So you wouldn't really think of, let me get my recommendations for the best protein powder from New York Magazine or Forbes. You'd probably go to health.com or like a gym website, right? But this is what parasite SEO is. It's just piggybacking off of established domain authority so that you can produce content that will rank well without much effort because of that that built-in authority to that domain already. So that's what site reputation abuse is, and one very interesting thing here is our core rank is they say, what ranking signals does a site have, right? And we're always, as SEOs, we're always looking for the slightest signals or some sort of indication from Google as to what they're weighting in their systems. So this is kind of interesting, right? Our core ranking systems are primarily designed to work on a page level using a variety of signals and systems to understand how to rank individual pages. We do have some site-wide signals that are also considered. Please note some third-party services provide reputation and authority scores for sites. These don't correspond to any of Google's own signals nor come from Google, but I think they're pretty accurate. And they're relative, but I think they are a good gauge of how Google, ranks these sites, or else we wouldn't see these high domain authority sites even ranking for anything remotely unrelated to their main area of expertise. All right. So that's the Google Core update. Again, just to recap, volatility, it's going to be super volatile these next couple weeks, 3-4 weeks. If you're actively checking your rankings, just make sure you're not panicking. Wait until the update is completely rolled out and then start assessing, if you've increased in rank, if you've decreased in rank, then you can start assessing what you did right or what you did wrong compared to the other sites that are on the SERPs. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Before I go, I just want to show you a quick recap of what I've been up to. Let me just bring up the cold email board, all right? And in that video, if you remember, I had said the biggest problem I was running into was just cleaning the data. What this means is just enrich data, and that enriching the data is like basically making the data cleaner, which is it's very time consuming. So I've been working with different programs to, number one, get better data. Apollo wasn't the right fit for what I'm trying to do. And scraping tools is just kind of a little bit too time intensive for me. So I've been using D7 Lead Finder. I'm going to get into this all in the next video because I'm still wrapping up the processes, but just want to let you know, I have really good stuff coming, and it's related to this. And I think a lot of people who may even be running their own agencies or doing some cold outreach or anything like that will really find this useful because it's just something that I've had to figure out. And really excited to share that with you. So that's in the next video, but I hope you got some value out of this one. And thank you for watching. See you in the next one.